Yeah, it's beautiful there too.
Yeah, I lived on that mountain there. It was nice. Really nice there. Pretty.
Got the redwood trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wound down the mountain every day when we went into town.
Yep.
We was coming round the mountain. Well, this is now Greg's on.
I'm
Hi,
here.
Greg. Hello.
Hi. Hi. Good morning.
Good afternoon to you.
I'm visiting with Franny's father and her family in Sarasota. And Dee is here, not in this building. We're in a different house. And Dee actually had a ranch there in Grass Valley, sort of southwest of town a little bit. That's a Circle Z ranch, Franny?
Oh, yes. I've heard of it. I've been there.
Yeah, they sold it. He raised quarter. What was it called? I don't know. He raised quarter horses from taking polo ponies. They specialize in polo ponies.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
We used to stay there some nights. My dentist is up there. The dentist I had in San Francisco, his wife moved out there from San Francisco. What's her name, friend? Clark, Dr. Clark.
Oh.
First name, I forgot his first name, Clark. Alan Clark. He was a very dentist.
So now Greg was telling me that you were waiting for your husband to come along.
Yeah. I was. He's pretty strong in the Christian faith, non-denominational. So he's not, he's learning about it as I explain things to him. And Greg was telling me how to have a communication about it in real time, as far as like testing. And so I had a real good conversation with him after I talked to Greg, and it was very fruitful, I think. So we built some understanding and more acceptance.
Tell us more about your conversation.
Okay, so one thing Greg said is, there is freedom of religion. So that was one of my lines. I came in with, let's don't forget that this is about my freedom of religion. And then he explained to me that he was concerned about me and worried about me, knowing me pretty well, that he doesn't want me to be taken advantage of. So there's protection in there too, on his part. And excuse me, the other thing was, I thought of my cousin who's a musician. She plays in the Santa Rosa Symphony, and she's a very busy person, and nobody questions what she's doing because it's accepted. If you're a musician and she's a teacher, it's accepted. But if you're trying to understand and pursue something that's not well known by people, it can be a little hard. Not everybody understands what I'm doing.
So let's do a little testing.
Okay.
What's your husband's name, by the way?
Jesse.
Hold your hand up so we can see your signal.
Okay. In my hand, I do it this way.
Now put it closer to your face.
Okay.
Yep, that's good, yeah. Does Jesse understand?
Okay. I get no.
Okay. So, is Jesse okay with me participating anyway, even if he doesn't understand?
No.
Is Jesse trying to stop me?
No.
Is Jesse dealing with his feelings about this?
Yes.
Okay. So your signal is your hand sort of goes moves
Yeah, it goes
in.
like this.
Does that? Okay. Okay, that's good. Now you've been doing this for 3 years.
Little over 3. Probably 3.5.
And have you been taken advantage of?
I haven't.
Well, test this question.
Okay.
See, you've been doing it over 3 years. Have I been taken advantage of?
No, I don't think so.
Have I taken advantage of Immunics?
Taken advantage. Yes.
Now, test, is that a good thing?
Yes.
Okay. Would it be a good thing for you to be taken advantage of?
No.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what you were testing, but it just strikes me. You could no. Put your hand back. That's you did test something. I just don't know what it was. See, it strikes me as inconsistent that it's good for you to take advantage of Immunics, but not good for it. Immunics to take advantage of you. Why would that? Why can't it be reciprocal?
Oh, okay.
Do you have any ideas about that? Do you have any ideas about that?
I think that when I was testing it was in a general sense, but I could ask if it's good for Immunics to take advantage of me, and I would say yes. I don't know.
Did you get yes on it when you tested?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you were talking to Jesse and you were talking about it after you spoke to Greg, did Jesse get any signals?
I don't think so. I don't think he. Well.
You asked him to try getting a signal. Did you ask?
What's that? He has to try.
Did you ask him to try getting a signal?
No, I didn't ask specifically.
Oh, because I thought that was what you and Greg talked about, is that you should see if you can get tests with him.
Yes, we did. I guess I didn't directly ask, though.
Did you ask in some other way than directly?
Oh, I did. I said, what do you think? What do you think this could be? What's going on here? I asked questions like that.
Okay. Well, what did he think could be going on?
He did say that earlier in our relationship when he was dissatisfied with me that he didn't really do anything about it. He just kind of suffered with it, and I pointed out that do you see how you could have made some changes even though you felt it was coming from me? And he said yes. So that was kind of where we got really pointed in the discussion. This was in the past.
How long have you been together?
Let's see, since 1989, so quite a while. Over 20 years. Yeah, 23.
And in the 3 years you've been doing this, you've never tried to show him how to test?
Yes, I have. I've shown him the way that I go about it and the bodies and all of that, but he just says he's not really interested. He doesn't believe that. He's not sure of the source of it and that kind of stuff. So, and I try to explain that if you feel good about something, then you can probably think that it is good. If you have a good, loving, open, happy feeling, it's probably going to be okay.
How did he how did he react to that particular piece of news?
Well, no comment, I guess.
It sounds like him, yeah. I'm getting a mental picture of Jesse as we speak. Oh no, I see a dog.
Oh yeah, that's my little doggy back there.
I see a pooch.
Her little bed.
And you know, I see one is looking out the window right now, thinking about going out maybe. What a sweetie.
Yeah, she's a good dog.
I like having a dog in a movie. You know, I'm glad the dog is there.
We'll include her a little bit. There we go.
Yeah, good, okay. Let me just make sure she's. Yeah, they can see her very clearly in the movie. Well, Test this. Do I need Jesse to get into this for me to proceed with it?
Okay. Do I need him? No.
So you were thinking you needed him, but you actually don't, right?
Seems like no.
So you were thinking that you needed him, but you actually don't need him,
Oh,
right?
I see.
Yeah, you with me?
Yeah.
Now this is a revelation to you. I'm taking it.
Well, I don't know. I just sort of felt it in a way because I've always felt pretty strong in my views, and so I don't know. I don't know how much of a revelation.
No, I mean that you don't need him to do it for you to get into it.
Yeah, I suppose. I've never thought of it that way.
You can just like forget about him as a potential, like somebody being involved as, as a potential somebody who's going. Well, I mean, like you were in the meeting with Ross, whose husband will not do this, and he's dying of cancer, and he's bleeding, and they're rushing him to the hospital. For more, she's bundling him in the car and racing him to the emergency room.
Gosh, yeah.
And he won't do it. He just says no, and she just loves him and supports him, and she goes right on, doing this, and she makes every meeting and tweets all day, and she continues with her job. She works at she's a teacher too, like you are. You're a speech therapist, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and she's an English teacher. And she goes to work, and then she goes to the hospital after work to visit him and stuff, and and she loves him, doesn't fault him at all for the way he is. She has love. It's just love. Okay? Love is the important thing.
Right. Yeah, that's wonderful. She's really going through a lot right now.
You love Jesse, right?
Yes.
So, you've got love. That's all it ever had to be. Is that a rebounder the dog is sitting on?
It is actually.
Well, now we know why you haven't been exercising. You put the dog bed on the rebounder. What'd you say, Greg?
I said the dog is getting the exercise.
Yeah, right.
Getting the exercise.
Yeah, by shifting position, the rebounder moves a little bit.
Yeah.
If you have a treadmill, don't let the dog be on the treadmill. You've been on the treadmill.
Yeah, right.
I go swimming now.
Oh, good. Where do you swim?
That's good.
At my local club.
Oh, okay.
So.
Because I didn't think Grass Valley was so big on swimming.
Oh. No, but we have a pool, so.
We lived on the marina And we noticed, like, you know, I noticed people like swimming in the bay. I used to go running up the, you know, I'd run by the marina and up that mountain by, you know.
By the Golden Gate.
Yeah.
Towards the Pittsburgh Market.
I went down towards the Golden Gate too sometimes, but I went the other way. And up there, and you'd see these guys wearing wetsuits swimming in the bay, you know.
Yeah,
and
it's cold out there.
And I said, I'm going back to Florida.
Oh.
Well, when I left San Francisco, I flew basically directly to Jamaica.
Oh.
And then I was there for a month.
Nice there.
Then I went back to... but I liked living in San Francisco with Franny and Greg. You know? That was fun.
It's fun there. I lived there for 5 years.
Yeah, it was a good time. So, I think that it may be safe. It may be safe to assume that your husband may never do any of this. Mm-hmm. You know, it's quite possible that he will just never do any. And like, I'll tell you why I'm saying this. I don't know if you've noticed this, but like the Cure team has a very small number of people on it.
Mm-hmm, I did.
And the people on the Cure team are like, one is in Austria, mm-hmm. One is in a little town in northern Italy, another one's in Santa Fe. You know, there's a woman who can't even make the meeting. She's in Melbourne, Australia. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. So we meet from 2 to 4 a.m., you know. But you see her tweet sometimes. And, you know, does it strike you that it would be really a very enormous coincidence if you were so into this and there was someone living in the very same house that you do who also got really into it?
That would be a rare occurrence?
Wouldn't you think that's like the chances of that against that are like maybe 1 billion to 1? It's just very unlikely. I mean, like, none of your neighbors are into it.
Right.
You know, like if there were 100,000. I mean, do you know anybody in Grass Valley who's into it?
No, I don't.
Me either. You know, and there's thousands of people living there, and your chances of the person that you live with are even less than that, way less. So.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, and it's just the same with Ross, with her hubby, you know. And she's like, what she does is she's curing whatever comes up about him dying. That's what she's doing. Mm-hmm. And staying in love, staying in touch with her love, being love.
Right.
You know, just having her relationship while she's got it.
That's great. That gives me hope.
It's great. It's courage. And see, that's the thing, is that, you know, one of the things Ross tweeted the other day, you know, Ross smoked for 50 years.
Wow, long time.
50 years, and she used this to stop.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, she removed the cravings and she chose to stop. And also she realized that she would be a role model if she stopped. And she did it for you. She did it for other people. You know, she did it. She wanted to be taken advantage of. You know, she wanted to be taken advantage of. She wanted to be used. You know? She wanted to have something that somebody else could get something from. It wasn't all about her getting something.
Right.
You know?
The call.
What, Greg?
Oh, I'm sorry. I lost the connection to my headset and I got it back. I'm sorry. I thought I was on mute.
Anyway, so anyway, she quit smoking, and she was saying that with this kind of crisis, she would have been chain smoking.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
like in anxiety attacks. I mean, her husband's dying.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Wow, that's fantastic.
And every time they turn around, there's something worse. And you know, also she's doing Immunics on him, and it helps him.
Mm.
I don't know if she can cure him, but I know it helps. Because she said he changed. There was another tweet. Have you been reading everybody's tweets?
I have, yeah.
Okay, then you saw the same tweets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
The one where she said, you know, that he, you know, first he was saying I can't eat anything, and then he said don't bring my food up, I'm coming down. After she did some Immunics on him, but she doesn't tell him she does it.
Right.
Because if you tell somebody I'm doing Immunics so that you'll be able to eat, the person will never eat. Mm. They will prove you wrong. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yes.
So you have to realize that. Well, why don't you hold your hand up again? Test.
All right.
In certain things like interactions and so on, does Jesse ever become my opponent?
Certain things. Does Jesse become my opponent? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a basic test for whether he's your opponent or not, but we could do that too. You could just ask, is Jesse my opponent, in a general way. So see, what do you get there?
All right. Is he my opponent? No.
Do you have any children?
No, I don't.
Does he?
He does.
Test them, or are any of them your opponent?
Oh, okay. So if his son is Eric my opponent? Hmm.
Okay.
No.
So you get no.
Yeah.
And you know, this is a good thing to do with just anybody and everybody.
Okay.
To test through people, are they your opponent? Is good, you know. You find out more about. Now, see, people find out their children are their opponents. Their best friend is their opponent, and so on, you know. And but on the other hand, like I'll tell you what about me. Like a lot of times, it seems to me like Franny is my opponent. But when I test, I get no. So I go, okay, well, I guess, you know, I'm just being reactive here, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it helps to be able to test because.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, really.
Yes, sometimes I think he tries to ground me, and he has points sometimes. He does kind of keep me grounded. I could get way off there and on a tangent.
Yeah. Well, grounding is good, you know,
Yeah.
generally.
Good.
Yeah, it's good to be grounded.
Yeah.
Test right now, am I happy?
Okay. Am I happy? Yes.
Am I making the right choices?
Am I making the right choices? Yes.
Okay. Now there's another thing, you know, about the bumper sticker thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's possible that you may have misunderstood me. So I just want to clarify something. Like, this is something you do for an hour. Like, you don't do it for like 6 hours. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're saying, well, you know, when I'm retired, I can do it. But see, the thing is, like, you do it for like 20 minutes. Like, you go to the grocery store, you park in the lot, you know, you're going to go shop. I don't know if you shop at the grocery store. I don't actually shop at the grocery store, but I'm just saying.
You do?
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see the picture of the vegetables that I put on yours?
Yeah, I did. Oh, you get yours from a farmer?
Well, that's right. You see, they're in cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got a case of corn and a case of peppers and so on, you know.
Yeah.
And then I park under this big tree. This is out in the middle of Florida, you know. It's in the wasteland, you know. I park under this big tree, and I sit there on my tailgate, and I put the vegetables in a colander, and I wash them and cut them, and I sit there and just have myself a nice little lunch under the tree, you know, a little picnic lunch with the stuff I bought. Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy eating. I love to eat. But anyway, all right. So you go to the post office, and if you're doing a median thing, you walk out to the median, which right over here where we have Publix. There's a big median in the middle of the road where where the kids go and they collect money for their uniforms. Like in the middle of the traffic, and I go out there, and walk up and down the cars every time there's a red light for like 15 or 20 minutes, And that's it. It is not probably going to get Grass Valley going. But one thing that you should do is give people something with your name, your phone number, and the web college. And with nothing else written on it.
All right. I do have some business cards that have the cure drive and then how many cures and...
Yeah, right.
Then I just wrote my name.
Yeah, put your name and number. You will find that... in other words, let's say you want to be someplace where there's a line of cars, that way you get more exposure. But let's say, I talk to 10 people, like I walk down a line of 10 cars, and probably 2 or 3 people will stop me, and then I'll have short conversations with them. Now, this is all in the time it takes a light to change. But the interesting thing is how much information can be transferred in like 15 or 20 seconds. People say like, I'll tell you a story. This woman had her windows rolled down, and she was smoking. So she digs around and gets a bunch of change, and she didn't have very much money, and her car was, obviously the air conditioning was broken. It wasn't an expensive car. She's a very sweet person, I really liked her, but I was thinking, oh God, a smoker, she's probably like mired, and she probably sits and eats Frito-Lays in front of the refrigerator. I had all kinds of negative ideas about her. And this little spirit guide whispered in my ear, tell her she can use this to quit smoking.
Oh.
So as I handed her the bumper sticker, I said, you can use this to quit smoking. And she lit up. She said, really? Could I really do that? And she said, oh, wait a minute, I don't have a computer, I can't get on the web, because she doesn't have that much money. And I said, why don't you go to the library and get on the computer? And she went, boing, okay, I could do that, and drove off. And
cool.
it made my day, like I felt like I really gave something to somebody,
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And another time, this guy was obviously a contractor, and he had a really nice truck, and he looked like he was really, like he gave me $10, and he was really very proud of himself. Like he was like for donating. He knew he was giving me more than most people give me. And so he was really very proud of himself, and. Then there was another guy who said, give me a bunch because I can put them on the bumper of my dump trucks. And so on. And you never know, like, who's going to be with it and who isn't, And then people like pretend to ignore you, or whatever, or they say, no, don't talk to me. They're all different. And see, it's just about understanding people. It's not about getting Grass Valley going. It's just about understanding people.
You mean which ones are receptive?
Yeah, because what you learn is that you can't tell. You will never be able to tell. That's the lesson of it. And yet at the same time, you also learn a lot. It's an enormous learning experience. That's what it is, really. It's a learning experience. Unless you're doing it to earn money, which you don't need to do anything to earn money. But then I'll just tell you a story about Kathy. So I'm sort of changing the subject now. I'm off on another tangent, which is what I do, right? Kathy DiPietro was doing this, and she taught her son how to do it. First she was doing it for him. He was very small. He was probably 2 or 3, and, you know, she would cure him. Mm-hmm. And she told me, you know, and then she started showing him how to do it, and he was good at it. So he was able to cure things when he was 4. And, you know, she was talking to me, and she was telling me after he started curing things, she was saying, oh, I was up all night curing him. And I said to her, no, don't do that anymore. Stop curing him. You know, take the trainer wheels off. You just tell him cure that, you know. And so he did. And he was this very sickly. It's 25 below where they live, or it was. Now they moved to Vancouver, but before they were in northern Canada. And so the little guy, he just never got sick again. He stopped getting sick, you know. And when the little epidemics would come around among the kids, he didn't get it. And one time she wrote an email, and because her husband wouldn't get into it. He was like Jesse. He just refused to get into it, you know. And she said, you know, my husband is, you know, sick with the flu. She said, me, I don't get the flu anymore. My son got it and he cured it. You know, but my husband's been in bed for 3 days, not working. Now, and I'll tell you what finally happened. Kathy one day called me up and she said, Ian, her husband, he wants to be on the Cure Show. He's ready to, you know, talk to us, you know. And she said he thinks he might have cancer.
Wow.
And so we did a whole Cure Show with him, and he was testing fine and everything. And then he went to the hospital, because they have free meds, you know, they're in Canada.
Yeah.
And went to the hospital, and no cancer.
Wow.
And then, you know, a couple of years later I called, and after that he was doing it.
Oh, wow.
See, once he started doing it, he was doing it. And I was calling Kathy, and I got him. He answered the phone, and I started talking to him. And he was laughing. He was saying, oh, yeah. He said, I never get sick anymore. We never go to the doctor. And he was saying, I just tell my friends, yeah, you know, like she put a bumper sticker on his truck when he wasn't doing it. And he said, what are you putting that on my truck for? And she said, you know, whatever. He said, well, I can just take it off, you know. And she said, I wouldn't do that if I were you. She said, she said, you don't want the karma, you know. And that may have helped him get into it, because he kept seeing it every time he looked at his rear, at his tailgate. He saw that bumper sticker. Anyway.
Yeah. So I'll have more courage.
Well, you know, it's just Kathy just went on ahead, and she didn't try to make Ian come along. And Ian, she did what she needed to do, and Ian, in his own way and in his own time, did. That doesn't mean Jesse ever will.
Right. That took a lot for him to get there. Having a disease like cancer.
Well, you know, Christianity is good for people. And so he knows he has something, Jesse, knows he has something good. And he probably sees this as competitive with it.
Probably. Yeah. Well, when I was a teenager and into my early 20s, I used to be a Buddhist. And it was never able to cure physical ailments that I had, or really to cure me enough to change me as much as I've changed. I didn't remove traumas or alien agreements and all those things, or stamps that I had
Yeah,
that I never knew I had. So nothing has equaled this for me ever.
Well, you cured herpes, didn't you?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
Well, you know, I still think I have some residual damage, because sometimes I'll have like a pain, and but I seem to be able to stop it. So I don't think it's completely done.
Where's the pain? You mean around the genitalia or your face?
Yeah, the genitalia.
Well, I have an idea that maybe we should do. Greg? Greg?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. I want you to do a basic pathology removal for a few minutes with Anna, okay?
Okay.
Just a basic.
Have you list of pathologies, Anna?
Yeah, I have a list right here.
Okay. List of bodies, or you may know them.
I know them.
I'm going to be walking. I guess I could wait a while here. I was just about to leave. I was going to be on the phone I can take a few minutes.
Actually, you could walk probably while you do it if you want.
Yeah, I'd probably... Okay, well, we can do that. I'm going to walk. Okay. So first of all, test your feet. Test, do I have any pathologies in any of my bodies?
Okay. So I'll put my hand up. Do I have any pathologies in any of my bodies? There is a yes.
Got a yes. Okay.
Yes.
So then you remove the pathologies. Now, how would you do that? What do you say? And do that. Remove the pathologies.
All
From
right.
your bodies.
I'm now removing
All pathologies. Yeah.
from all pathologies. I'm now removing from all of my bodies. Okay, I got yes.
Good. So let's test. All my bodies are free of pathologies.
All my bodies are free of pathologies. Yes.
Just as a little insurance test, do I have any pathologies in any of my bodies?
Do I have any pathologies in any of my bodies? No.
Okay, let's go body by body then.
All right.
Let's start at
Actually, wait.
The least dense body.
Wait.
Yeah.
Better to
Run down the list.
Yeah, better to test through the pathologies and see if you get a signal on one of the pathologies.
Right. So you're gonna you get the list, or you actually you're testing down the list. So you run your fingers down the list and just you're testing. Do I have this pathology in my bodies? Do I have this one?
All right.
Just going to leave that to you. You test down one by one. Or shall I do it with you?
That's okay. I can.
What's the first one? Do it out loud with me.
All right. Do I have bacteria in any of my bodies? Fungus. Opportunistic infection.
You're getting no on these things.
Yeah, I'm getting no's. Parasite, no. Rot, no. Virus, no. Organ problem, no. Retention, no. Scarring, no. Substance excess and deficiency or deficiency, no. Trauma, no. Conditions, no. Deformity, no. Disease, no. Negative beingness, no. Particle attribute imbalance, no. So I got no's. Although today I did remove a condition. I was looking on the list.
Earlier, it's sort of difficult here. Earlier today, you removed a condition.
Yes, I looked on the list online and on the web college, and so I never removed this before, but it was secrecy.
Mm-hmm.
So I removed that, and I don't have organ problems, but I have organ weakness. So that's something I work with too.
Test on that now.
All right.
Your weakness.
Do I have a weakness with, it's my bladder.
Just test, do I have any organ weakness?
Okay. Do I have organ weaknesses? Any organ weakness? Yes.
Okay, well, so you have the usual suspect for you is?
Yeah, I believe it's just one. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's one or two, because maybe my kidney, one of my kidneys a little bit.
All right, bring your bladder up to 100%.
Okay. So I'm bringing my bladder up to 100%. Okay. Yes on that.
You feel any
So your
different?
bladder, is that the only one you said? You said kidney also.
I think, let me see if, sometimes it's the left kidney. Let's see if the left kidney has any weakness today. No, it seems okay. Yeah, it's okay today. So what I do with my bladder is I look for negative emotions that I've probably stuffed in there all my life, and I try to take all those out.
Well, test, are there any negative emotions there now?
Okay. Are there any negative emotions in my bladder? Yes. So I always find some.
So now, I'm now removing
Oh,
all the negative emotions.
okay. I'm now removing all of the negative emotions in my bladder. Okay. Got that out.
Do you feel any different now? Do you feel any different?
Let's see. Can't tell really. Let's see.
Test, do I still have any negative emotions in my bladder?
Okay. Do I still have any negative emotions in my bladder? Probably, yeah.
Now this time, focus on your bladder.
Okay.
And like just erase anything that's in there. And when you've erased it, you can actually put your consciousness in that.
Mm.
And when everything's gone, then you'll get a signal.
All right. So we're erasing everything that's in there. All the negative emotions. So I had a sigh that time. That felt good.
Now, feel your whole body.
Okay.
Is my whole body free of negative emotions?
Is my whole body free of negative emotions?
And as you're doing that, do the same thing you did with your bladder. Just erase everything so your entire body's just empty.
Okay. Okay. Erased.
Okay. Do you feel any different?
Yeah, I do. I feel more calm. Yeah, or even, maybe coherent, or coherence.
Can you see some new behaviors that you can construct?
So,
As a result of this difference in the way you feel, can you see some new behaviors that would be good for you to construct?
well, for one thing, I think I can use this technique for erasing and clearing. Let's see, so there's the technique.
Right.
Behaviors. Well, I'd like to be more supportive of other people, more engaged with other people. So that could be some new behaviors.
Can you be more specific?
Okay. Okay. Keeping up with the dishes at home. Being more of a team player.
That's specific. I like that. That's
Okay.
that's a good new behavior. It's a great example
All right.
of a good new behavior, keeping up with the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got another one?
Let's see. So another one for my husband is to try to help him with getting his tea ready, and not always just grabbing my own.
Good. That's very good.
So that one. What else? Well, I can think of a lot for my husband, actually.
Go ahead. Rattle a few more off.
Okay, so suggest to him some things we could do together that would make him happy.
Okay, great.
What else?
So ask him to do certain things with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good one.
Because I think part of it too is maybe he feels left out a little.
Okay.
So that's part of maybe what's going on.
Okay, good, good.
Give him more attention.
Okay. Give your husband more attention is a good new behavior. That's a great example of a good new behavior.
Yeah, get out of myself, huh? My focus on my own physiology, which just got healed, right?
Yes. If your attention isn't absorbed with your disease, you can put your attention on somebody else.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
another good new behavior is keeping yourself well so that you can focus on other people, such as Jesse. Okay.
Okay.
And can you think of another one?
Okay, so for the world, I can get out there with those bumper stickers. I'll find a way.
Just try to see it as a learning experience. See, I was only suggesting that you get like 100 bumper stickers, which is like, 2 or 3 hours worth, which you could, do over a period of weeks or whatever, like whenever you get a little, whenever you're out somewhere, you could just stop and do it for a little while if you're not with anybody, especially, So that was, and it's a fantastic learning experience.
When I was a teenager, when we used to go over to Berkeley, it was my brother and we would invite people to Buddhist meetings on the street.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun, and it was such an amazing time to do that. The Hare Krishnas were out there, and all the university students, and it was such, there were hundreds of people out. And it was such a fun thing, and I think my brother, he provided a lot of the structure for me. I just went along.
Yeah, right.
But he had it all organized and figured out.
Well, see, we do too, and I'll show you something. I'll just put this up on the... Well, sorry, the whole thing froze. When I try to go out of full screen mode, it does that. But anyway, you're still there, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'll have to take a minute before I show you, but that's right. See, we have it all worked out, and what I want you to do is just watch the movies about it and read all the pages about it and so on. And I'll show you where to find them all, and then you can get into it.
Yeah. That's what I realized when I contacted you guys. I just thought, well, I guess that's what I need. I need to make that contact. And I know my brother would have thought of it like probably within a week to do this. It took me over 3 years to put it together. Because I kept wondering, how am I going to duplicate what he used to do?
Your brother sounds like a heavy hitter.
He was amazing, but he passed away at a long time ago, 1991, of cancer.
I don't know how I knew that, but I did, and I was going to say, God rest his soul,
Thank you, and you know what? He had a book of Meher Baba in his room when he was like 16, and that's when I first heard about Meher Baba.
Most
we never spoke about it, but so he knew a lot of things,
Well, you've got... I want to show you this page. Do you see this page says Act Globally?
I can see it's a little blurry. That's on the web page.
Yeah, it's here. See it?
Yeah.
And you get to it with this button up in the corner that says Act. Do you see
All
that?
right. Yeah, I see that Act.
Yeah, okay. Then that's in the corner of every page. And if you go there to that, if you go to that thing, and you scroll down on it, let's see if I can show you how to scroll down. You could try this on your computer, I guess, and probably you are, as you're looking. And if you go down It's in this, see, there's a big bumper sticker here. Basic actions, bumper stickers. And this is my car. There's a picture of my car. I got a movie about my car. There's a click for sticker project here, and you know, there's cost breakdown, phone meetings, watch the movie.
Okay. I'll look for that. So
yeah, you just look around, and there's all these pages, and there's just tons and tons of information about it.
okay.
This is my car, and this is my car on acid.
On what?
I said, this is my car, and this is my car on acid. Anyway, so that's the, you know, there's just a lot there about it. And
good. I will look at all that.
And see, the nice thing about doing it is gives you a chance to meet some nice people that you would never meet otherwise.
Yeah, really.
That's the bottom line. Yeah, there's these people I was trying to go back into full screen and it froze again.
Mm.
Oh, here we go. Okay. So, didn't freeze for long. Wrote for about a second.
I can't see much difference on mine.
No, good. I'm glad. Okay, now I want you to, there's something I want you to test.
All right. And ready?
Do I have herpes in any of my bodies?
Okay. Do I have herpes in any of my bodies? No.
The pain, the pain that I experience sometimes, where I stop it, is that herpes?
Okay. The pain that I experience sometimes when I stop it, is that herpes? Looks like that's no.
Now, when you stop the pain, do you test that you have herpes?
I tested its residual damage.
Yeah, so it's not herpes.
No. It's, I picture it as like an automatic chain reaction.
Well, herpes is a cofactor in cancer, heart disease, Bell's palsy, Alzheimer's. Read Wikipedia about herpes. Go to the Wikipedia and read the page about herpes, because it tells all these things. You can very easily have residual damage from having a long-term case of herpes. Mm-hmm. Not unlikely that is absolutely right. So, you know, what you need to do is continue to check. Well, another thing you could test for, hold up your hand again, is it deformity?
Is it deformity?
From that pain.
The pain is a deformity. No.
When the pain comes, you should test for herpes and deformity and anything else you can think of to test for to find out what it is.
So beyond the residual damage.
Yeah, residual damage is kind of vague. But of course it's working because you are removing it and it stops the pain.
Right.
So, you know, if it works, do it. You know, maybe it's a good term for it. But, you know, you might find a better one and maybe you might get the causes and never get it again, you know. You might actually be able to cure it and have it be completely gone. I mean the damage.
Okay. I'll start looking into that. I'll look at Wikipedia and go from there.
I have a little story to tell you. Now this story is related to your pain. And I want you to know that because it may not sound like it is, although it is about my physical body and all. When we first started doing this, we gave courses in Philadelphia and people came from all over the world to do them. Not a lot of people, but there was about 20 people in this one course that I was giving. We had this gigantic mansion in a park in Philadelphia, and we gave the course in the library, which was empty, save for books on the shelves. You know, it was a big, enormous empty room. And the course was beginning and everybody was going into the library, and I was standing looking out the window. I was leaning on the windowsill looking out the window in front of the library door, and one of the people in the course came over. She stopped and came over to me. And she said, I was reading your gravitational body. And I found there's something wrong with you. I don't know what it is, but it's like this little metal sliver that's stuck in your gravitational body. It looks like a piece of shiny metal. Of course, in the world the gravitational body plays in, there is no such thing as metal. But anyway, she was just trying to tell me, sort of give me a sense of what it was like. And she said, and it corresponds with a spot in your physical body right here. And she put her finger on my lip in a spot that was between two of my teeth. And it was the exact spot where the dentist on his x-ray told me, you have bacterial growth in this spot here in a pocket, and it looks like the bone is disappearing, and you'll have to work on, brush it more, you know, and so on. And every so often it would start to give me a pain. And so I thanked her. She went into the class and I started scanning my gravitational body, and sure enough, there it was. I'd never noticed it. And I removed it, and any negative sensation in that part of my mouth immediately disappeared. So every time I got the thing back, I would check, and that little sliver was back, or it was a smaller version of it or whatever, and I would take that out again. And every time I did that, whatever was wrong would disappear. And that part of my mouth is now normal on dental x-rays. And has been for years because I kept at it. Every time it came, I got rid of it. So the thing we want to do is just keep getting rid of it. At some point it doesn't come back. It's like when they, shoot them when they run up the hill, and after a while they don't come up the hill anymore. They ride away, into the sunset.
Yeah, and I can look in some of my bodies too to see if there's some kind of correspondence somewhere.
Yes, that's the idea. That's why I told you the story.
Yeah, that's great.
That would be a good thing to do.
All right.
Well, so that being said, I would say this is a pretty decent little movie we made here.
Thank you so much.
Well, you are more than welcome. It's a real pleasure.
Same here.
And I suppose I'll see you Monday night, right?
Yeah. And Friday.
Yeah, and Friday this week.
Yeah.
Now, one thing, I don't see very many tweets from you. And when I don't see tweets, I have the idea the person isn't curing anything.
Mm.
Are you curing things?
Well, I did have a day or so. I had a little bit of downtime there. So.
Well, that's why we do the Twitter, so we'll know that.
Okay. So if I'm not curing anything, do you want to hear about it?
No, I want you to cure something and hear about that.
Okay.
So.
Oh, that's what I'll work on.
Yeah, don't not cure things. After this meeting, I want to see tweets about the meeting.
Okay.
And then I want to see tweets tomorrow about just you doing your whatever comes up.
All right.
Curing things. And tweets about letting go of Jesse and letting him be you. I mean, him be him and you be you.
Yeah.
Oh, and one other thing. When you help Jesse with his tea and hand him that teacup, whenever you hand him that teacup, I want you to tell him, now just so you know, Jesse, Immunics did this. You are getting this teacup courtesy of me being taken advantage of.
Because of what?
I said courtesy of me being taken advantage of.
All right.
All right, it's good being with you.
Thank you, Byron. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
Bye, Greg. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm sorry, I was on mute again. Good, well, thanks for having me in on the meeting.
It's been fun. All right, bye.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
This movie was given to you by HUM, the World Ministry of Immunics, which enables you to cure medically incurable diseases. We also produce the Cure Drive and the iCollege of Immunics. This is the home page. And as you see here, the movie that starts playing automatically when the page opens is a 3-hour tutorial film, which underneath it is the beginning of a series of movies. If you click on these links, you go to another movie that's a continuation of the tutorial, showing different aspects of the things that people need to get into when they cure things. The movie shows many people curing things. You'll find complete cure tutorials on the home page. Under the group at the top is another, this is a video and text tutorial, and if you click on the link, you'll see it has 10 lessons, and you can click on each lesson and you'll see it that the lessons are movies interspersed with explanations. And if you continue scrolling down the home page, you'll find a huge bank of movies of people curing things. Here's one of someone curing multiple sclerosis that you can click on and these play. Hopefully this one will play in a moment. There it is. So that woman cured PPMS and MS. Here you'll find people from every continent: Europe, the US, Asia, Canada. This woman cured shingles, and in this particular movie that's what she's demonstrating. And at the top of the home page you will find links to the cure meetings that we have every week. 9 p.m. New York time, Rome time 8 p.m. Underneath the cure meetings you'll find a link to friend me. It's actually Byard. I'm Byard speaking to you on Facebook, and you'll meet many people who are my Facebook friends there who have cured various diseases. Many of us have cured herpes, which is what I cured. Also there, if you have trouble getting signals, there is a whole bank of movies that focus on people who are just starting to get their first signals. Many of these people went on to bigger and better things, and you see them in other movies. But these are movies about their signals, how they got their first signals. At the very top of the home page, you will find above the masthead a link to the cure shows. And we documented people curing things on, we did this on the phone. There are shows on about 75 diseases, and the diseases are listed alphabetically, as you can see. You actually hear the people curing these diseases during these shows. That's post-traumatic stress syndrome from 9/11, the catastrophe. We have a show on that, and fever, somebody curing the fever, several people curing fibromyalgia, flu. We had a flu hotline, and there are many people. These people are actually curing flu, and the flu stops. It clears up during the 15 or 20 minutes of the call. It doesn't take long to cure the flu. Over here you have paralysis, parasitic parenting, Parkinson's disease. When you cure something, please join your voice with the voices of the many people who came before you by reporting your cure in our poll, which you can do right above the tally of the cures that people have reported is here at the top. And as you can see, there's a little link here. And if you click on that, you will come to a form that enables you to report your cure. This page is the hub of the Web College. And as you can see, there are detailed lessons on how to remove viruses, cure cancer. Here's a movie on the right here of a doctor who actually years ago cured the flu on camera. You'll notice that skill 1 in the hierarchy of skills is cure physical diseases. That's actually the easiest thing with this particular approach. And I've put a great many things in the hierarchy of skills that relate to curing physical diseases, such as ending trauma, working on your organs. Now, if we go into the Recode Your DNA, there are 10 applications or 11 applications, and Recode Your DNA is one of them. If we go inside here, what we see is a page with a huge amount of links. And then if we look at the links on the right, after the ones on the left which prepare you, these are the actual lessons. And you can see some of them. It might be hard for some people to see why blind installation procedure is related to recoding your DNA. And this is why we've put it in this application, so that it relates it in your mind. This is the reason the Web College is organized the way it is to relate things for you in your mind. And obviously there are a huge number of things, like if you're curing cancer or herpes or any medically incurable disease, it's obvious that there are a great many things that you have to learn. And they're different for everybody. You do not have to learn everything that's listed here. And in fact, cure is instantaneous. And it's always unexpected how it will come. Like, watch these women. They're going to give you a perspective. This is a good way to conclude this little overview I'm giving you here. Say, can I go to the 144th dimension? See if you get a signal on that. Can I go to the 144th dimension?
Can I go to the 144th dimension? Yes? I guess I can.
Go ahead and do it.
Okay,
Okay.
both of you go to the 144th dimension.
I'm taking myself to the 144th dimension.
Me too.
No stopping for gas on the 8th dimension.
I feel clear.
Yeah, I feel less interested in anything below the 144th dimension.
Can we stay here all the time?
I know, exactly.
Well, I mean, this would take a lot of backstory, but there are some decisions that my family's making that I now feel clear about.
Yes, because when you have that perspective from the 144th dimension,
Yeah,
you simply don't care about anything as much.
that's exactly it. But I don't care doesn't sound so good.
Well, see, that's right.
But it's it. That's really
Not
it.
in effect.
When people hear we say we don't care, they go, "Well, God, that's sick," you know.
Hey, I know. It's the good